Hi everyone, welcome to the first ever Girls Voices Now virtual showcase. My name is Clancy Cornell. I am a community liaison with Women's Voices Now. I'm so grateful that you took the time to tune in with us today to our virtual event. We are really looking forward to sharing on Earth Day with you all about some information and work that we've been doing with young women and environmentalism in Los Angeles. So we're really grateful again that you tuned in, and we hope by the end of this video you not only learn a little bit about the work that we've been doing, but you also find opportunities to engage with some of this work yourself. So thank you again for tuning in. A little bit of information about Women's Voices Now. We are a nonprofit organization that produces, promotes, and shares social change films focusing on women and girls' rights issues. We provide active support to filmmakers who give voice to these unheard stories, and we also hope to activate civil society by moving audiences from empathy to action on these issues. So with the support of the Department of Cultural Affairs, earlier this year, we were able to carry out a series of 4 workshops with female youth aged 14 to 18 in Los Angeles' District 14 in downtown LA. So the workshops focused on the intersection between art and activism through the lens of a specific social issues topic. So we decided that rather than choosing the topic of focus, we would call out to our students as we were doing recruitment and see and put the question to them, what issue is most pressing right now for them, and what is it that they would like to explore in the workshop series. So we asked, what is the most pressing issue of our times? And overwhelmingly, the girls responded with a desire to explore environmental issues with the workshop. So that was exciting because we hadn't been able to tap into that much. So my co-facilitator, Amreen Karmali, and myself, we devised a workshop series centralized not only around exploring environmental issues, but also the idea of environmental justice and what that looks like. And also on the intersection between art and activism as it relates to these topics.
Hi everybody, my name is Amreen Karmali. I am an activist, an organizer, and educator passionate about gender justice and social justice in general. I also co-facilitated this series of workshops with Clancy. Before we jump into what the workshops are about, I'm here to introduce you to 2 of the films that we got to watch while we were facilitating. These 2 films were part of the Women's Voices Now online archive, which is a collection of about 200 films that cover women's rights issues globally. There are some incredibly powerful films, and they are free to the public on the Women's Voices Now website. So please check out these films, check out the reflection questions at the end, and really take some time to talk about and think about women's rights issues and environmental justice issues, and enjoy. Thank you.
If not us, then who?
As quebradeiras são guerreiras. Guerreiras porque elas lutam e elas têm coragem de lutar e de dizer as coisas.
Um movimento, né, que luta em prol, né, do nosso babaçoá.
Terra de sempre, muito boa, muito pouco, gente quebrando, se divertindo, batendo papo.
Graças a Deus.
A gente, que nem eu tô falando, tira o azeite, aí a casca a gente faz o carvão.
Eu mesmo, agora por outra eu uso. Gastrite, dor de estômago. Você pode pegar a massinha dele e samear na comida.
Faz um bocado de coisa nessa massinha aqui. Faz pão.
Fazer o pão.
Significa minha própria vida, porque eu sou filha de quebradeira, aprendi a quebrar coco bem novinha e tem seis anos que eu sou mãe solteira, mãe de 7 filhos, sustento eles quebrando coco, aí então para mim é a minha vida e dos meus filhos.
Primeiro a gente faz o leite para botar na panela, para botar na caça, botar no feijão. E aquele que é feito sem torrar é para fazer produto de limpeza, como sabão, sabonete, né? A gente vende para ter dinheiro, né? Então é isso, é nossa riqueza é o babaçu. E é o que nos une. Nós somos irmãs de leite de babaçu. Acho que as ameaças, elas são constantes. Elas mudam, assim, de cara.
A cerca representa, né, um símbolo, né, de proibição, que a gente não tenha direito ao babaçu.
Essas aqui da reserva, no início foram muito fortes.
Chegou no outro dia lá, o fazendeiro falou que não queria ela na área, né, quebrando coco. Que quando ela chegou lá no outro dia, o litro estava tudo furado de bala. Então era dizendo que se ele tivesse achado ela lá, matava, né?
O fazendeiro mandou o jagunço laçar ela com uma corda de pegar boi. E ele laçou ela estava quebrando coco, ele laçou ela. Ela colocou as duas mãos assim, para a corda não cortar o pescoço dela. E ele saiu arrastando. E outra que foi estraçaiada numa comunidade chamada Espírito Santo. Os porcos, os cachorros, o cara estrupou ela, violentou ela, mas não matou. E deixou ela viva lá e os bichos comeram. A gente achou só os traços. Então aí a gente se revoltou, aí a gente começou a luta. E com o apoio do padre, a gente foi buscar conhecimento, aí começou a se juntar Piauí com Maranhão, Imperatriz, Baixada, e a gente começou a discutir a criação do movimento das quebradeiras de coco a nível interestadual. E aí a gente até hoje tem essa luta e a gente não vai desistir assim fácil não. Essa produção é de grande importância para as mulheres, porque quando vende, cada uma tem a sua porcentagem. O primeiro estoque que tinha, mais de 3.000 litros, venderam. Está diversificando a produção e, além de ajudar a gente na renda familiar, a gente está protegendo a floresta.
Aí nós estamos vendendo na compra direta, programa direto para a merenda escolar. Dá um suco muito bom, né, para as crianças e também a melhora da renda da família, né?
A gente diz lei do babaçu livre, mas ela não protege só o babaçu, ela protege o meio ambiente, a floresta, a Amazônia como um todo.
Tudo que a gente conquistou através das associações, né, dos movimentos de mulheres, e fica uma maravilha.
Tu já sabe que não pode derrubar, precisamos preservar a riqueza natural. Tu já sabe que não pode derrubar, precisamos preservar a riqueza natural. É uma comunidade de gente que trabalha de roça, que quebra coco, que pesca, que dança, que pula, que brinca mastro e que faz um monte de coisa. E que preserva os nossos ancestrais. A gente acredita que é uma força que nos ajuda e que segura nas nossas mãos para dizer, não cai, levanta. Não pode derrubar, precisamos preservar a riqueza natural. Tu já sabe que não pode derrubar, precisamos preservar
Bueno, este río tiene una importancia ancestral, espiritual, porque
This river has ancestral and spiritual importance to the Lenca people because it's inhabited by the female spirits. These female spirits guard the rivers. The Gualcarque River is also used for growing food and gathering medicinal plants. And of course is vital to the entire population downstream. I believe it signifies life.
After a military coup in 2009, the Honduran government awarded concessions for 47 dams to power hundreds of new mining projects. Chinese engineering giant Sino-Hydro joined with the Honduran company to build a dam near Rio Blanco. The Acozarca Dam would impact hundreds of Lenca people.
hubo una violación desde el comienzo.
This was a violation of indigenous rights from the start, because the National Congress granted a concession without providing free, prior, and informed consent. We're experiencing one of the greatest handovers of sovereign indigenous territory in the past 500 years.
Aquí donde estoy sentado aquí, aquí era una gran frijolera cuando entró.
We had beans planted right where I'm standing. But when Sino-Hydro came in, they ran their tractors over our fields, destroying everything.
Por eso nos encaprichamos y estamos organizados.
We got mad. Then we decided to organize ourselves with Copin.
Copin, an indigenous rights organization, organized the Lenca people around their internationally recognized rights.
Consulta libre previa informada a pueblos indígenas. En 2 cabildos abiertos y en más de 150.
In more than 150 indigenous assemblies and debates, our community decided to reject that hydroelectric dam.
Tantos años que tienen varios de ustedes que han solo visto pasar el agua y nunca la hemos utilizado.
Mire la desgracia que usted nos vino a hacer a nuestro pueblo.
El señor alcalde municipal de Intibucá.
The mayor of Intibucá came to an open meeting here where more than 400 people said no to Sino-Hydro.
Ustedes no han reaccionado por su propia actitud, la mayoría. Yo digo aquí con propiedad que la mayoría de la gente está a favor de la represa. No.
Bajo la política del gobierno de Honduras de privatizar.
Under the political influence of the Honduran government, the mayor falsified signatures of Rio Blanco citizens to legitimize this project.
Berta filed complaints with the Honduran government and organized peaceful protests in the nation's capital. As her visibility increased, she became a target for the government.
Tengo familia que también se han visto expuestas.
They have even been harassing my family. In this case, my mother, whom I live with. My own children have been threatened with bodily harm. So of course it affects me personally.
Siempre me propuse a que ella pues tuviera.
I always encourage her to take an interest in social struggles, especially in regards to poor people, women, and indigenous people. As a result, she has been exposed to so much persecution, which is why I always fear for her life.
Que somos humanas, sentimos miedo.
We are only human, so of course we have real fears. But that doesn't mean we're going to be paralyzed by it.
Están enfrentando 52 proyectos hidroeléctricos. entre hidroeléctricos, soberanía territorial. Crecimos defendiendo la vida, compañeros.
We denounced the dam and were threatened with smear campaigns, imprisonment, and murder.
Sagrados intereses de nuestro pueblo.
But nobody heard our voices until we set up a roadblock to take back control of our land.
For well over a year, the Linca maintained the roadblock, withstanding harassment and violent attacks. Tragically, Rio Blanco community leader Tomas Garcia was shot by the Honduran military at a peaceful protest.
Ver al compañero asesinado, tirado.
Seeing these men murdered, the community became indignant, forcing a confrontation. The company was told that they had to get out.
Somos como 500 personas que tenemos de arriba. Por eso defendamos aquí Río Blanco, porque de aquí no pasarán.
Así se fue Sinohydro de Río Blanco.
And that is how Sinohydro left Rio Blanco. But it cost us in blood.
Sinohydro terminated its contract, citing ongoing community resistance. The World Bank later withdrew its funding over concerns about human rights violations.
Que podrían agredirla, que pueden matarla incluso, como han querido hacerlo.
They can attack her, they can even kill her, as they have tried. But her life transcends this moment in time. This struggle is a symbol of community resistance that inspires people across Honduras and around the world.
No podemos ser ingenuos ante ese poder represivo que hay ahora en este país. Cuando iniciamos la lucha de Río Blanco,
when we started the fight for Rio Blanco, I would go into the river and I could feel what the river was telling me. I knew it was going to be difficult. But I also knew we were going to triumph, because the river told me so.
So hopefully those questions got you thinking a little bit deeper about environmental justice issues. On the first day of our workshop, we really took a look at what some of the big environmental justice issues are and how humankind has impacted Mama Earth. We really looked at environmental justice issues and connection to mental health. And in addition, we took a look at how the power of art can be used to talk about these really important topics.
Our amazing participants were young women from all across Los Angeles County, and the workshops were held at the Skid Row History Museum and Archive, which is an exhibition and community space curated by an arts organization called the Los Angeles Poverty Department, which has for decades been performing and creating multidisciplinary artworks and exhibitions that connect the experiences of folks living in poverty to the larger social forces that shape their lives and communities. So we felt that it was a really fitting place to explore these concepts of environmentalism and environmental justice because it was able to bring us to an urban setting and kind of explore what environmental justice looks like in an urban environment. So we were able to hold the workshops there and also educate, a little bit about the history of that community, the history of the organization, and what kind of grassroots activism has happened in downtown LA in the environmental field and in the environmental justice realm. Transitioning from discussing global environmental challenges to more locally focused ones, we talked about the history of Skid Row, the Skid Row neighborhood, and explored what environmental justice looks like in an urban environment, getting into topics like gentrification, public health, and food access in Los Angeles.
We learned about what some local organizations are doing about environmental justice issues that are affecting our particular communities. And as the girls explored that and really started to create their art projects, we took a field trip to Skid Row and Los Angeles Community Action Network's rooftop community garden.
Hi, my name is Emily Ponce, and what I learned throughout the environmental workshop with Women's Voices Now is that there are a lot of environmental issues that are happening in our world today, and it is very heartbreaking to see that because a lot of people are being affected by these situations. Throughout the workshop, we were shown these incredible short films made and directed by women, and to me, that was the most inspiring and empowering thing to watch because these women went out and made change for the better. And by Women's Voices leading these types of workshops, I feel like it helps us, our youth today, actually want to make a difference as well in these matters. So I thank Women's Voices for that. Thank you.
During our workshop, I learned that Skid Row has a long history and just how protected it is from gentrification and how important it is. The people that are homeless are just people that have been stuck in a bad situation that need our help. And it's important for us to humanize them again because they deserve rights and they deserve our respect. They deserve a lot more recognition for living the way that they do.
Hello, my name is Felisa Preciado, and something very important I learned in this workshop is to always support your local garden centers because it is so easy to plant a vegetable or fruit, and it is an easy access for people who may need it.
Hi, my name is Emily Rodriguez, and I'm a participant from the Women's Voices Now Youth Workshop. And one of the many valuable things that I learned from the workshop was the importance of supporting your local farmers markets because they give you access to healthy and organic food options while also giving back and supporting your community.
Hi, my name is Alyssa Fong, and one thing I learned from this workshop was about how gentrification comes with the cost of displacement, which greatly affects poorer communities.
Hello, my name is Diana Pena, and I was part of the program this year. Something I learned about was that the history of homelessness and also the existence of programs that help with homelessness. I know that there were such programs that existed, but I didn't know specific names, and that's something that I learned this year.
Hello everyone, my name is Heidi Bash-Harod. I am the Executive Director of Women's Voices Now, speaking to you from Redondo Beach, California. I want to thank you for joining us in our first ever global community screening event to celebrate Earth Day. In this strange time of a global pandemic, we hope that this found you safe and well at home and offered a little bit of inspiration in this time of isolation, and that you feel that you're part of the Women's Voices Now community. Thank you to Amreen Karmali and Clancy Cornell for facilitating a very powerful workshop for some very special young people from the Los Angeles area. To our participants, way to go in making your voices heard and letting us know the importance of environmental justice. We hope that we have many more opportunities to interact with you as an audience, whether in on-the-ground events or in the digital space. Please know that we have an archive of over 200 films highlighting women's rights, struggles, and triumphs that are free and available for streaming anytime, womensvoicesnow.org/films. We'd love to see more of you visiting and watching those films and sharing them with your friends, family, and colleagues. As well, we are a small organization that is supported by people like you. So if you are able to make a small donation, womensvoicesnow.org/donate, we will put those funds to great and good use to bring more programming like this to our friends all over the world and locally as well. So thank you again to the Department of Cultural Affairs Los Angeles for supporting this workshop, and thank you all for tuning in, and we hope for many more opportunities to work together to make the world a better place. Thank you.